the most non-violent being. That is why, because of his compassion, there's so much that Swamiji has done. Apart from for Hinduism, just us as a family, there is so much that Swamiji has contributed.
I just wanted to add a point over here. There are innumerable things that we can share as examples for the non-violence that Swamiji carries within him. That is the same thing that is reflected upon us. That is the same thing with the same thing, the same quality with which he's bringing up all of us. That is why there are tons of examples. I just wanted to quote an example. Like we had a dog which will eat only grass. It will not eat any other animal. It will not eat any other insect. A completely shy-white dog which has taken Shiva Diksha. Does not any training or anything. Just being in that space, there is a dog and there is a cat too. Like this, and there was an incident where a fly fell into Swamiji's cup. Swamiji took it out, and it was like the coffee cup. It was boiling hot, and when a fly fell inside it, after like about 5-10 minutes, Swamiji just took it out and saw it. It was completely alive.
Swamiji had shared it even in a satsang.
So if Swamiji has violence inside him, that saliva would have had violence in it. But because there is no violence, there's only absolute compassion inside him. When he was in the same cup that Swamiji was drinking in, when the fly fell inside, its life did not get affected. Why so much? If a human walks on grass, like for a few days, that entire place, like that pathway, grass is going
I feel even all this people, I feel even this easily Janardana will just manipulate just to make him understand to the level that he stooped down today. I feel even talking about some of the spiritual contribution will not even get into his head. He's filled with greed, he's filled with insecurity, he's filled with just lies. And that is why he's spreading so much on the media. And I just want to tell, apart from all that, financially, how much Swamiji supported to clear all the loans, how much time Swamiji has spent, how much Swamiji is healed, how much Swamiji has sacrificed. Nothing can even be explained. Like, it is just too much. If I start talking, it will take forever. But I just want to tell, the moment you made such an abusive comment about women, violence is shown.
Not just violence, it's vulgar. So vulgar. What kind of cognition he's having and what kind of words he's using.
How he is
that
talking about Sanya. Exactly. God. And I just want to tell, that shows who is filled with violence, who is filled with not just violence. I don't even know how to tell this, because unfortunately when I remember and when I realize that you are our father who is talking like this, it is the worst thing that I am going through today as a daughter born to a family that talks about a sannyasi, a guru who has sacrificed so much and who talks about women so cheaply and abuses. I'm feeling so pained and even ashamed to remember, just when I remind myself that unfortunately this person who speaks and who stooped so low today is our father. That is the worst feeling that I am having.
But if you're watching this, I'm just conveying this directly to you. I am feeling so disgusted seeing the way you're giving the interviews. It's so painful, and we're really disgusted and sharing all this.
Actually, I feel about the non-violence, so much we can talk. Actually, even how in the Gurukul, the non-violent space that is there, and it will be beautiful if actually today Ma Bhaktika Swami was sharing that even our other Balasans have joined. I would really request if they can share, because we have spoken. I really want everyone to know how Gurukul is, the space that we were brought up, and how these lies that Janardhan has been spreading is just false.
We invite Manitya Deepananda and Manitya Shiva Yogananda to go ahead and share on the ongoing persecutions and whatever else they want to share with the viewers today. Nithyananda.
This is Manitya Deepananda. Today, I would like to share, like how Nithyananda and Tatupriya were sharing about the non-violence. Swamiji actually, it was in 2013 when Swamiji introduced us to all the adolescents about the rose plants dropping its thorns without us doing anything externally. So many of us will be like, how is that possible and all those, but so many masters, enlightened masters like Paramahamsa Yogananda has proved that to be a science. When Swamiji told us to do this, we all started the whole thing about this rose plants dropping thorns. The science behind it is only when a person doesn't have violence inside of them, when they don't hold any kind of this anger or anything which triggers inside of them, which gets this violent act outside, when that isn't there inside a person, when they talk, when they interact with the plants respond. Even normally plants respond, but when when the person who's talking without non-violence, when they interact with the plants will drop the thorns because the security feeling that the plants will have after that. This is what Swamiji actually thought. If you actually, there'll be some pictures which they'll be projected. You can see how the plants, you will not see any scar, that marks which the thorns were plucked out, nothing. The new branches will have nothing but the leaf and the flower growing out of them. It's not just the thorns. Whatever the kid asks, whatever the adolescents ask, in that space of powerfulness and love, automatically that plant will give what they wanted. Okay, if the rose plant is only giving white color flowers, the kid will be like, can you give pink color flowers whenever in these few days. The color of the plants change, the color of the rose change. This has happened in Gurukul, and so many of these evidences are there. So what I actually wanted to tell is, if a person being violent, obviously these kinds of experiments or these kinds of miracles can't be possible in anybody's life. It is only when a person being non-violent and having the space of love and compassion, somebody can make these kinds of miracles happen in their life. And not only that, it's not just making that happen inside of them, but also give the signs to everyone else to follow. It's not one person, it's not two. It's the whole Gurukul. About 50 to 60 of us have rose plants like that, which has grown without any thorns. And it's not just that. It's not just that. This is like one of the smallest contributions that Swamiji has given. But there are so many different things. Even when you are sleeping, we wish each other Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo. When we wake up, we wish each other and to ourselves Uttaradatmanatmanam. All these, the powerful cognitions. When this is how we grow up, there's no question of being non-violent in any one of us. So this is what I wanted to share today. So
And as
Ma
Ma
Shiva,
Deepa
I would like to ask you also, because you were also there with us for so many years, so you would also experience all these things.
Yes, exactly like Ma Deepa said, like how she shared about one rose plant. The lifestyle, the Charya Pada, the lifestyle we lived in Gurukul, it's a non-violent based. For an example, and Ma Deepa, Ma Nithyananda, Tatupriya, all of my Guru Behans knows very clearly how I used to be before coming to Gurukul and how I completely changed after I joined Gurukul. The first response always, when me and my sister gets into fight, the first response will be like always anger. And the language will be like, how can you do this to me? And I will do the same thing to you. I will do anything to make you feel the same pain what I gone through. And I will hurt you. This is the language in what I was talking. After joining Gurukul, we used to have small fights, silly fights between me and my sisters. But always, we Balasans help each other, enrich ourselves to always bring the completion space. the first thing what we will do when the anger comes up is look in and ask yourself from where the anger is coming. When life is projecting you something, some incident, any incident it can be, how can you face the incident from the space of powerfulness instead of facing that space from the powerlessness, showing your anger? It's going to put you into more angry, and even the other. And even when I'm always start up fight with my sisters or from the space of anger, always my we Gurukul Balasans help each other to always apply the science of completion, the science of powerful cognition. So this teachings was given by my master and we have applied and we have experienced. How can Janardhan Sharma claim that Swamiji is a violent person? And why are you lying, Ayya? So many times you have taken us to so many power manifestations, to so many stages, where you always tell us, Ma, please share how you are lived in Gurukul and how you used to be, how you are now. Because of Swamiji, because of the teachings what Swamiji has teaches. And now, how can you say that Swamiji is a violent person? Why are you lying, Ayya? This is causing a conflict between what has happened and so how Swamiji has delivered hers. And really, I have this question.
Before you continue, it's an amazing thing that you're sharing, Ma, because what the viewers have to understand here is there is a person calling Swamiji as non-violent, as violent. The teachings from Swamiji, the space of Swamiji, in the space of Gurukul. Gurukul means family of the Guru. Guru means the teacher, the master. Kula means family. Gurukul, that is how the word is there in Sanskrit in ancient India. So how beautifully you're explaining how you live as a family with Swamiji, as the father, mother and Guru. And how in that space of Gurukula, the family of the Guru, you all are flowering in pure non-violence. It not just only when the Guru is non-violent, the space of non-violence will flower inside every disciple. And that is why the disciples are required to live in this breathing space of the Guru in ancient India. The Gurukul system of education was designed for that. So that just through his space, his presence, his initiation, all of these attributes, these gunas, these qualities are transmitted to the disciples. That is the space of Gurukul. And this attribute of non-violence, you are explaining so beautifully the way you have imbibed through initiation and through the very presence and space of Swamiji, the incarnation who is the most non-violent being on the planet. Please continue, Ma.
Thank you, Bhaktika Swami. And I really hope how the Gurukul Swamiji has created to rejoin back. And we really hope both our sisters, Ma Nithyananda and Ma Tatupriya, to join us back in Gurukul. We're really waiting for them and we will wait and we are still waiting. Thank you, Nithyananda.
Thank you so much, Manati Shivayogananda. It was a beautiful sharing. How just being in the space of Gurukul, the kids are living such a non-violent lifestyle. Whether you hear from Ma Deepananda or Ma Shiva Yoga, how Swamiji has revived an enlightenment ecosystem, which is completely living on the principles of non-violence. The painful fact is, I know Janardhan knows all of this because he used to go stage after stage, VIP after VIP, talking about the rose plants, talking about the non-violent ecosystem in Gurukul. He knows this to the very letter, very spirit. He knows there is absolute non-violence in the inner space of every Gurukul Balasant. And he has acknowledged it. He has shared it in multiple platforms with many meetings. So it is not that he does not know, but he chooses to lie to the media. Why? This is the question that we need to ask. Why would somebody just throw and spit blatant lies to the media and vomit so much of anger and violence. What it shows, even though he says in the media that Swamiji has violence, what it really shows, it exposes his anger and violence. Because nobody who's listening to him has ever seen Swamiji angry or Swamiji being non-violent. Even when when Swamiji was illegally imprisoned, he came out after illegal 53 days of torture and illegal imprisonment. The first discourse he ever gave was on freedom. Even when the world binds him, he liberates people. Even when his body was tortured during the 2014 the so-called medical examination, the potency test, with an aim to assassinate His Divine Holiness Swamiji, he made people walk out of wheelchairs. They made him wheelchair bound, but he healed so many people, and people who have been wheelchair bound for 8 years, 10 years, he has made them walk during that very time when he was wheelchair bound. So just his life, Swamiji's life is a living testimony of how much non-violent a person can be. Even during the illegal arrests in 2012, when he was arrested to protect him from the violent attackers, one of the most ridiculous arrests that I have ever heard, that people around are going to cause damage to His Divine Holiness, can disturb the peace in the ashram, so they are arresting Swamiji to keep him safe in the jail. Have you ever heard that somebody gets arrested because they need to be protected from the violence? Well, that is how ridiculous the corrupt authorities can be, the corrupt police can be. Even in that time, when all of us were literally boiling with the persecution that Swamiji has to undergo, even at the time, he was non-violent. He was exuding peace. He has literally been a living embodiment of peace, living embodiment of non-violence. And he has initiated all of us in the Nithyananda Sannyasa Sampradaya to living the lifestyle of ahimsa, non-violence. Let us not be a threat to anybody. Abhayam sarvabhudebhyo. Let my existence not be a threat to anybody. So anybody, even though they listen to Janardhan, claiming, falsely accusing that Swamiji is violent, the only way we can, even he himself is actually telling that Swamiji is not violent, but I am violent. That is what comes out. So Mr. Janardhan, if you really want to hide your violence, maybe you should stop spitting violence on others, the anger on others, because how a person responds determines his character. See how you are responding and how Swamiji is responding, even when you are falsely accusing him. And when you listen to his satsangs every day, now in a few minutes we are going to have a live satsang. When you listen to the satsangs every day, dear viewers, you know the space Swamiji is exuding, a space of beautiful, space of enriching and transmitting that experience of Paramashivatva. State, space, powers of Paramashiva, the being of Paramashiva. That is what Swamiji is doing. They are abusing anger and violence. So Mr. Janardhan, you are making it blatant to the world, your anger, your violence, as your two daughters have shared. How much of violence you used to have on your wife, on your sharing and showing and outcasing your violence, because everybody knows and everybody has seen and experienced Swamiji's non-violence. And if you haven't, well, wait for a few minutes and see how a non-violent person, how a non-violent being exudes peace and non-violence even when he has been the victim of persecution. So dear viewers, just listen and tune into the Nithyananda satsang every day, and you will experience that space of non-violence, that space of Paramashanta Swarupa, the space that Swamiji is exuding in spite of in spite of 18 years of persecution, which is continuing till today. And his message is, I am not here to hurt anybody because I am not hurt by anybody. That was his message yesterday. So beautifully he said, I'm not here to hurt anybody. Can a person who's being attacked for relentlessly for 10 plus years even utter this? He's saying, I am not here to hurt anybody. I'm here to enrich you, to give you that experience. That one line is enough to showcase his space of non-violence, space of peace. And Janardhan, your lines in the media, just listen to one line of your interview, shows very clearly your inner space, your inner violence, anger and arrogance and violence that you are carrying inside you. So when you share that Swamiji is a violent person, it only very clearly exposes your violence and anger, which you may want to hide or you may not want to hide. That's probably your decision. So with that, it's time for us to experience our beloved Swamiji, time for us to experience his darshan, time for us to receive the message from Sri Kailasa delivered to us by our beloved Swamiji, the embodiment of peace, the embodiment of non-violence, the embodiment of Paramashanta Swarupa. Let's get ready to receive him with the chanting of the Mahavakya, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Please chant, visualizing Swamiji in your third eye, just meditating on the beautiful form of our beloved Swamiji as we get ready to receive the avatar. Nithyananda.